Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our first online seminar for our GYHM650, which you see on the above corner. Well, in the next future, we like to give you this special service, and we concentrate on this 30 to 45-minute seminar on dedicated items which is related to this product. Of course, further seminars will be follow-up for different kind of products from GSM Professional. Anyhow, today our goal is how I can use a GSM adapter, mobile phone adapter, to make an internet connection via the GYHM650, what I have to do with it, how I can implement it. Well, first of all, let's look to just such adapter which I have here in my hand, and you can see I zoom it a little bit up in the corner. That's a typical adapter, for example, here, and turn it around. It's a T-Mobile adapter. It could be a Vodafone, U2 or O2 or any other provider which you get around Europe. Anyhow, you can see it's a USB connection, and as normally your memory stick, everybody is thinking, well, this is a plug and play issue. Well, that's not the reality. The world looks a little bit different. And when you get an adapter, especially like a GSM adapter, normally you need a kind of software which comes on a DVD or a DVD disc. But on this kind of adapters, they have also internal memory, and on this internal memory normally you'll find the provider's tools software. So we have certain steps before we can work with these adapters to the camera. First of all, we need this adapter to run on a PC. That's the major goal before you can use it. And also, this kind of adapter needs to be a dedicated hardware version. So there is two ways when you have the idea to use a GS adapter on a GYHM650. We provide you a special list with proof adapters which you can use with the camera. So you have to make sure that you have the right camera to use with it. If the adapter is not proved by us, we need to get this adapter to implement the driver and check if we can implement this adapter. So this kind of list we will talk a little bit later on, and also in our download section you can download the latest updated list for this kind of GSM adapter. But have a little bit closer look where we can find the adapter model. First of all, normally when you go to a shop, the GSM shop, you'll find a case like this in the box, and on these boxes normally there are different kind of product names. For example, this is a web and walk stick. It could be LTE surf stick or something like this. But this is just a name on the product, but we need to know which kind of real chip hardware is inside this GSM dongle. So before you order such an adapter, please go to one of these shops and ask them which kind of hardware they really support you, or which hardware you can get from them. Let's have a little bit more closer look to this adapter, and I will zoom this adapter up so that you can see the full screen. And let me move the picture in. I'll do a little bit. Okay. So here, for an example, you can see this is the normal hardware name which is named by the provider, in this case web and walk stick. But for us it's interesting what chipset is in. On this adapter is very well done. You can see there is written GYHM650. This is just an example. If this is on this side or even on the box, you're very lucky. It's very easy to identify and compare with our list. On some adapters, this modem type is not written here. So therefore you have to open the slot where the SIM card will be placed in. This is here inside. And sometimes you find small letters. I hope you can see it here. You see the model number inside, E352.5. This model number is very important. Just to remember, we can support all adapters, mostly all adapters, which is based on a UI chipset. So now we have to do a dedicated procedure. I need, before I can use that on the camera, this adapter has to be worked with a laptop or with a PC at first. There's two reasons for it. When you get these SIM cards, which is inside these units, when you select it in here, there is a PIN number or PIN code number. This PIN code request we must switch off. And this off switching this PIN code is only possible with the tool software which comes from the provider. The second issue is that this adapter did not know which kind of internet connection you can get. So you need also the tool software from the provider to memorize what is the application interface, what is the APN data for the connection to your provider. This is very important, otherwise the stick did not know to which kind of internet connection you get. So let's do such an operation. I have one stick already prepared on my laptop and I want to switch to my PC picture, and let me move that to the full screen that you have the choice to look at. First of all, if the adapter is connected and it reacts like a normal memory stick, so when you open your Windows Explorer, I hope you can see it. It's a very tiny letters here, but I hope it's possible to see. It opens a drive for you. You can see here, this is the external memory which comes with this GSM stick, and we click to this. Well, I hope. So we click to this. Then you can see you get your tool software. Normally, if you first time you stick it in, the tool software installation comes automatically up. Otherwise, you have to do the setup procedure to install the tool software. In our example, we have already installed the Telecom Manager, which we're running here. And I will open this one so you can see it here. This is our small tool software which comes from the provider here from the Telecom. And the first thing is you go to the menu option of this tool software. It's a little bit depending on the provider. For example, if you have Vodafone, it's called Advanced Mode. In this case, it's simply called Menu. And then you find different tools which you can handle this GSM stick. Here is important, we go to the settings. And there is a part which is called security pin. Go to the security pin, and there are some, you cannot see it right now because this pin is already switched off. Make sure that there is no pin request. If they're requested, you want to disable the pin request, please switch disable pin request. Otherwise, you cannot use the GSM adapter. If you have done this, you close this and make a normal connection, press connect, and you can easily see if it works because there is no request for any pin operation, and you can see now we have a connection to the internet. If you have done this, please disconnect, close the application, and then take the memory stick and bring it then to the camera. I want to give you a simple example with the Vodafone software. I like to start the Vodafone software. And when you start the software, the Vodafone software looks like this, and there is the advanced mode. Switch to the advanced mode, select the device, and then you have one of these devices you have to select, and you can find here the part here where you can disable the pin code request. After you disenable the pin code request, go to the status and make a normal connection like before I did with the Telecom. Well, now the data for our first connection is stored in this adapter. Let me take the adapter which I used on the on the PC. This is this one. You see this is a little different. This is adapter number 1. This is adapter number 2. It's a little bit bigger. Anyhow, it's the same procedure. There's a product name on it. Let me show you the product number on this kind of adapter here. You can see it here. I'll zoom it a little bit in for you. Let me do a full screen. Again, you can see this is the product name from the provider, SpeedStick, but here for us it's very important, called GYHM650, and this is very important for the hardware identification. Well, now the connection data are stored in this adapter and is ready to use on the camera right now. Let's look to the camera. Let me bring the camera a little bit in front. Well, like this. And let's have a look. On the camera, on the back side on the camera, we have a USB connection here. This USB connection is only for data transfer, file transfer directly to your PC. So this is not our interest. We need to look about the USB host connection, which you find on this area. So take your adapter and move the adapter into the USB host like on your PC. So the adapter is now connected to the host. Allow the adapter for some seconds to recognized by the camcorder. It's very important, like on your PC. If you connect it, you need a little bit time before all the drivers will be loaded. Well, before we can use that, we have to do some settings inside the camera. And we use this inside the camera. You can see here this adapter is very big. But in the normal case, when you buy this adapter, inside the case you find small adapter, USB small adapter cable. This is sometimes very useful. You can use this cabling and you can mount it here on the side. We have dedicated adapter plates which you can see here. This is normally used for wireless audio, which we can mount here on the side on the camera. Take this adapter cable and you can mount nicely. For example, if you take the adapter, you can mount it very nicely here on the side on this camera. It helps you that you not have these big adapters here on the back side. Anyhow, this is some small addition things. Before we can do this connection to the internet, we have to prepare the camera. Let's have a look to the camera menu operation. Let me switch to the camera itself. Here we are. There is the camera menu. Let me make your full screen for you that you can see all informations. First of all, I remove the adapter, start from blank, and that I can talk with you. Give me a choice that you can see me, where you can see the menu option here. Well, short introduction, which kind of buttons on the camera I will use. Let me go a little bit simply back here to the bottoms, quickly show you the buttons which I use now for the next operation. First of all, we have the menu button here on the side, and of course the cursor key. So these are the buttons which I use. In addition to that, I use the cursor key here, but it's just equal this or this, it's up to you. And here's also a menu button. Very important for the other status information. Let me make your plug it in, that you can see this nice image. There are two additional buttons. It's display button and the status button. So when I talk, please press the status button is this button here on the audio section, and the display button. These two buttons, it's also important for our setups. Okay. So let's go back to the menu. Here we are. So first of all, the display button. When I press the display button, you can see on the menu option, you can see I can switch on all display information and camera information which comes on the menu. So please make sure that you can see all this information that you can, at the moment you can see around me. Well, let's start to do a setup. We connect, which I did before, connect our USB host, our USB adapter or GSM adapter to the USB host, and then let's go to the menu option. To prepare IP functionality, it's very important for some special setups. We go to the system setup, scroll down, and go to the network operation. You see this kind of information here, which means top, network operation on, SDI output off, or network operation on, HDMI out is off, or general network operations are off. In the case network operations are off, you have the functionality that all display information goes live out to the SDI and the HDMI at the same time. So both outputs are working at the same time. Well, these GYHM650 have a lot of function and capabilities, but to do the IP operations, we need some hardware resources. To get these hardware resources, it's necessary that one of these active output must be switched off. So for example, in my case, I switched off the HDMI here and leave the SDI on because I want to show you the menu option on the screen, and I use an SDI operation here to my mixes. Well, this is the first preparation. To enable the network operation, one of these must be off. Then we go down to the settings. You see web setting, live streaming settings, etc., etc. This is a part for the next seminars. Today we concentrate only on the connection setup for GSM. So we go to the connection, and you find here this kind of items, which is called wizard, load, store, and delete. The load and the store are very nicely, because one times you have to set up your parameters to make a network connection. You can store them, and easily when you change the adapter, for example from a GSM adapter to a Wi-Fi adapter, it's very easy. Just go to load and load your profile from the Wi-Fi adapter or the profile from the GSM adapter. There are 4 memories, 4 different kind of adapters. For example, you can use, for example here in the German case, I can use a T-Mobile connection or a Vodafone, and instead to input all parameters, I simply set load T-Mobile or load Vodafone, for example. Well, let's go to the first connection with the wizard. Go inside the wizard, and this is a very important status here. You can see it's mentioned cellular. That means the camera adapter is recognized our hardware. Based on the provider's hardware, there must be some information here. It could be cellular, which is 98% the case, or on some hardware adapters. For example, we have some adapters which we're running in the UK. That's mentioned as Ethernet adapters. So one Ethernet or cellular adapter must be visible here. If you get a message here which says no adapter, the adapter is not recognized by us. It's not recognized by any device driver. To this point I come a little bit later. So in our case, this adapter is a approved adapter which we already used, so it mentions cellular. Then we go to the next step, and we have to input a phone number. So you said where I can get this phone number. You can see it's a very crazy phone number. It's *99 **1#, or it could be *99 or a dash. That's also possible. Well, this number is an European International dial-in number for such internet connection over GSM. So it doesn't matter if you are in the UK, if you are in Germany, or in France, or Poland, or somewhere else in the Europe, you have always *99 **1# or *99 and only dash. Well, also this is written on our list, so don't worry. Depending on the provider, it's needed that you have to input a username. Also this is based on our list. We already give this support, so you can find this username on our list. In this case, for our T-Mobile connection, it's very simple. It's T-Mobile or it's TM, and the password is the same T-Mobile. In case of Vodafone, for example, it's very easy. In case of Vodafone, it's only VF, username VF, and password VF. Well, that's all. You see, it's basically very simple. I go back. If the adapter is recognized as cellular, simply add this number, simply add the username, add the password, and say, OK, setup, the wizard is OK. Then you have the choice after the setup, go to store and simply store this data. I already did this, so it's not needed on my case anyway. So if I give you an example for TM, go in, give any name you like TM here for T-Mobile, or write T-Mobile, or Mobitel, or whatever you like to use. It's up to you. After that, it's finished, it's ready to use. So we can go back, and you can see there we have a connection. This is very important here on this stage there. Over there, that is our information, which kind of network we have. Now the camera is already working. We have a LTE in Germany, or what the people say 4G network connection, and we are ready to use that for FTP transfer or for live streaming. Well, I like to little bit talk about this identification. Let me do following. I disconnect the adapter so that we have no information. So there is no adapter right now. That means there is no connection now. You see there is no network information anymore. And let me connect the adapter back. And then we have 3 steps to give you this kind of information. So the adapter is now connected, and we will shortly get a message here on the top side. Takes a while, which I mentioned to you. You need to give the adapter a moment. Now you can see there is step 1. It's just white flashing. White flashing means there is no adapter. Yellow, which is the state now, means the adapter is recognized, which is a good state. For example, if it's only white and flashing, means you input an adapter which is not known by the camera, and you get a yellow connection. Yellow means the adapter is recognized, but there's no connection established. As soon it gets white, stable white, you get a connection, and then you get an IP address. And you can see I have a good position here with my camera. I get a 4G connection. Well, now we have the connection, but it's important when you use that, for example, for FTP or for streaming, you want to know what is the quality of service from your provider. Coming back to the bottom status, which you have on your camera, just to remind you, show you again quickly that here on the camcorder, the bottom status again is here on this side, small side. There is the status bottom. Let's go back to this. Now let's press it. When we press it and use the cursor key, you can switch to all camera status. You can see all your major setups of the camera. One of them is the network information. As you can see here on the first row, it's cellular adapter. You take a carrier from the T-Mobile, or for Vodafone, or Mobitel, or O2, or whatever provider you have. And you can see the access type. In this case, is LTE, which means a 4G signal. In some European countries, LTE or 4G is not there, so then there will be written 3G. And you can see in the next area, you can see the signal level. Well, the quality of service is an issue which is important for live streaming. So if you have only a 3G connection, please keep in mind you should have a signal level minimum 5, 6 or higher. If it's lower, the quality of service is not good enough to do a streaming. And also keep in mind that the speed on 3G is limited. So it's good for an SD signal with 800 kilobit transmission rate. Anyhow, the GYHM650 allows you a lot of kind of streaming rates from 250 kilobit up to 8 megabit, depending on which kind of resolution, etc. you use. But this is a part for the next seminar. Let's talk a little bit to the IP address. The GYHM650 has the possibility for remote connection, and you can control the camera. For example, if I am in somewhere in Hungary, make an LTE connection to the web, and I get this IP address in the theoretical terms from the studio, maybe here in Germany, or maybe in the UK or somewhere else, you can control the camera. But the difference on the GSM network is, especially in Europe, in US is a different issue, but in Europe, this is not an official IP address. That means even you get an IP address, it's just for the main operations. You cannot reach the camera. If you want to get an official IP address so that you can control the camera from somewhere else, you have to talk with your provider if they are able to support such kind of function. Normally you must pay extra to get such official IP address. But this is only if you want to do a remote control, means backwards to the camera. For FTP transfer or LTE, for streaming, it's not needed, so that's fine, it works well. Well, this is the status operation, and we have established our connection to the outside world. Well, that's done. I want to give you a little shortly a review to remember what is important. Number one, you get the adapter. Let's do two things. One, you don't have an adapter, or one, you already have an adapter. Stage number one, if you already have a GSM adapter but never used it before on the camcorder, make sure, check on the back side the hardware chipset. It should be UI. If it's a ZTE chipset we cannot support, it must be a UI, and then you look about the E number, compare it with our list, and is this on the list, there is a good chance for more than 95% that this adapter already works. The only thing what you have to do, first of all, take the adapter, plug it in your PC, make sure that there's no pin code request, make a normal connection to the internet, close your application, disconnect the adapter, then use it on the camera. In the case you want to have a new contract, a new GSM adapter, make sure that you not order that by web or something else, or make a phone call to your provider at first, check which kind of hardware you get, check it with our list, and then you're ready to go. Take it, use it on the laptop, extend the same procedure, make it pin code free, and then let it run on the camcorder. Well, in the case you have a UI adapter but it's not recognized on the list, what we can do? We can try to implement that into our camera. What we need is, we need then the GSM adapter. I need it to my hands, including the SIM card. But don't worry, it's not needed. Don't worry, we don't make any data connection, so you do not have a cost. You simply send this, but you need to give us some time, about 6 to 8 weeks. We send this to Japan, and then our colleagues in Japan check if they can implement it in our camera for your country or for your local use. But I'm pretty sure we have a bunch of the adapters already running, so I'm pretty sure it's not needed so often. And then on the next firmware update we will implement this driver. I'm coming to this very important point for the firmware updates. This driver, of course, needs to implement, and we do that time by time. We do this for GSM adapter, we do this for Wi-Fi dongle, or for certain other issues. Example, on the firmware update, other manufacturers maybe change the camera type, but today everything is software related, so and the most work we have with software. and the software is able to make basically a new camera. So time by time, go to our web page, go to the support area, and check if there is a new firmware. For example, for GYHM600 and 650, the latest firmware, fresh from last week, is version 206. Version 206. And next week at the same time, I do a presentation how you can do the firmware update in a safe way to the camera. Let me give, at the end of this seminar, let me have a small look to this GSM adapter list. Well, I open the PC here that you have a choice to look a little bit better to this. Here is our list. Let me zoom that a little bit up. Maybe I do a little bit more, like here. So you can see there are a bunch of providers mentioned. And we start, let's do just the first row. Here we have the German provider T-Mobile. You see the Web and Warp stick or the speed stick. This is not so important. Important is the red marked area here. You can see that's UYE352, E98, etc., etc. Which kind of connection type it's possible. And when we scroll to the side, you can see the dial-in number. Here the dial-in number, the username and the password. In some countries you can see there is no needed for have a user or a password anyway. So only the number in the front change to *99#. And again, if your country is not on this list, don't worry at the first. Check if in your country you can find one of this hardware from your provider. So you can see the most, for example, Vodafone in Spain, etc. is the same like in Germany, or in Portugal, it's the same like in Germany. So you can see here a bunch of adapters. We already have Germany, Spain, Portugal, Italian, the UK, the Swiss, the Netherlands, the Turkey, Serbia, and so on and so on. Slovenia, for example, Romania, Greece. If your country is not mentioned here and you want to have one of these adapters, please check first this hardware if it exists. There is a 99% chance that this will work. Well, again, this list is on our download section. You can go to the download area and you can download the latest list. Also in this download area is a special freeware software tool because sometimes the provider software are not able to store this APN data, this login data, to the stick, and then we need to do a little bit tricky to get your stick to run. If you face such a problem, please let me know. My contact details here on the website. You can reach me and I would like to help you step by step, even by a phone talk or by Skype. We can talk and I can try to help you to implement these adapters. Well, let's have me a look if you have some questions or not. I go to the area here, to our chat area. Okay, on the chats issues I say no question, whatever. So you have a choice to chat with me if you have questions, or on the website is mentioned my direct telephone line here, so you can give me a call. I'll be online for you for the next, let's say 10 minutes. And you can give me a call or you can have a small chat if you have questions. This today's seminar is recorded and we place that video then on the website on YouTube on our video channel, so you have a choice to review this. Again, we like to give you this service more and more often. I think it's a good tool for you to learn about our cameras and our products. And again, next week at the same time, 3:00 p.m. German time, we talk about firmware update. And then 2 weeks later, we talk about special items on the camera. We will also talk about FTP and streaming. Please have a look to my website here for the training. There's all the schedules and the items which we like to talk with you. So I cut the sound right now. The image will be still there. So I'm waiting for the next 10 minutes. If you have something to chat, some special question, I will answer you, or you can give me a phone call. Thank you very much and God bless you. Bye-bye.